So yeah, basically I feel like it does sound egotistical to say that we might have something that could benefit others, but I'm starting to come around to that idea.
I mean, if you tell me that our next door neighbour's interested in meditation, then that tells me there's 7 billion people on the planet, and if someone who lives next door to us is interested in it, but doesn't really know that much about it, and
doesn't know anything about it, I don't think,
then, statistically speaking, that's very good odds. And maybe there are more people out there who want to engage in meditation, but don't have the opportunity, don't know where to start, don't have a person they can trust. I suppose that might come down to a lot of it. If you've got friends that do meditation, then maybe you can talk to them about it and then get into it that way. But then if you don't have anyone like that, just sort of pitching up to a meditation class is quite probably daunting. And also it's going to be a culture shock for you. I mean, I know the first time I met a Buddhist, or who was someone who did a lot of meditation, rather. But I think it was a Buddhist, yeah. I met a Buddhist at the Oxford Fresher Fair, and I asked him, I think, so what's meditation about? And he said, he was a twat, basically, but he was a Buddhist twat. I don't know if you're familiar with the type, but he said, what would you like it to be about? And it wasn't so much the response being a bit, well, you're turning a question into a question there. That was part of what annoyed me. But the other part of what annoyed me was just the way he said it with such intensity, like the sheer focus in his communication took me back. And needless to say, I never did Buddhism, joined the Buddhist Society at the university, just because, if you have to deal with people like that, who aren't going to meet you halfway, then, that's going to be a bit of a mind fuck. Maybe there are lots of people out there who could benefit, and by me not communicating about what I know, or not pushing myself forward, I'm actually depriving society. It does
sound very egotistical, doesn't it? Troublingly so.
Well, yeah, but balancing all things. But I think with meditation, I have some very definite ideas about the ways, or rather, of going about it, and that's what I'd like to communicate. But I accept that it's not suitable. What I would want to say about it is not suitable for everyone. So I definitely like to promote meditation, and if it is as a therapy, it's probably more useful. But then there's a definite skill of not going overboard.
Yeah.
Because you got someone, actually, regardless of whether they would classify themselves as sort of needing help or not, or someone just who is interested, regardless of that, there's a definite skill in not going overboard in methodology.
Definitely. In fact, for me, the opposite approach was the better one. Just forget all of that. Forget all the stuff you're being told half the time, and just sit down and shut up.
Well,
as much as possible.
For some people, yeah.
That's what worked for me. The minute I stopped trying to meditate, I realised that I was in fact meditating.
That'll
if that makes sense.
People. But once again, you do have to understand that only works for some people. And some people will question that and go, well, I'm not doing anything. So
no, I know, exactly, because I think, especially in the Western culture, we're geared to do something all the time. If we're not doing anything, that it's some kind of wrong that we're doing. The very idea of doing nothing, sitting and doing nothing, is something that's foreign to a lot of people.
But you can say that, but ultimately, in order to get someone meditating, you may have to give them something to do if they require to believe that they need to have something specific to do. But that's where you get into problems, because you can get pulled overboard with the methodology, and people, at first, when they get into it, they think, oh shit, yeah, this is great, I'm doing this thing, whatever it is, however it is they're doing it, and they think, yeah, great, this guy's giving me something I can do with my mind, or something I can do on my body, or just something I can do that helps me, and then you don't want to continuously reinforce that. At some point we need to branch away from that. And I think ideas like the spiritual process being creative
Definitely is a good one, yeah.
Helps to branch away, because if you're always doing the same thing, it's not really that creative.
Yeah.
You see, you got to be able to suss people out on the way they can get into this whole spiritual process. It's not always the way that you got into it. It's not.
No, not at all. No. No.
So exercise extreme caution and to avoid just repetitive actions. Basically, that's what I would say. Okay, well, take the neighbour, for example. Now, I've no idea what type of meditation would help.
Yeah. So to go in with a certain type that you think would help could actually come across as quite condescending, I think. I think maybe just giving them the idea of, or a variety of ideas, one might be kind of more appealing and they might think, okay, let's try that first. And then you also give them the wherewithal to think, I can move it forward from there. I can see where that goes myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I wouldn't. Makes perfect sense.
That's how I see it anyway. You're not saying this works for me, so it must work for you. You're just giving people the tools to work it out for themselves.
But how do you know you're giving a full tool set?
Well, you haven't got to.
Menu?
Just a few, just enough, I think.
So, I think when you look at how people should start meditating, you should consider two things. Firstly is, how does their mind kind of naturally work anyway? Try and find that out. What type of thinker are they? How do they think? And the other thing is the opposite of that. What things do they tend not to do naturally? And I think when getting people interested in meditation, they tend to become first interested in the things that they do naturally, that they're already doing, but they're not really doing consciously. And so when you bring that into the conscious, deliberate action kind of sphere, they go, oh, shit, I'm meditating. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you go, well, you kind of would, but you knew that before, didn't you? And you're like, oh yeah, I've always been meditating.
Exactly, that's how it happened for me.
But then I think you kind of need to look at what you don't do as much. Go outside your habits as well. Then once you've developed that, you can then start to think, well, what don't I do? Why haven't I gone consciously? And then that leads you on to the next step, and that kind of just leaves a path after that. Yeah. Because there's always somewhere else, It's like a journey.
Yeah, that's exactly how I see all of it. Spirituality in general, really.
And there's all sorts of different ways, interesting ways to meditate.
I don't think I could ever get bored, to be honest with you, with that, at this point. Always learning.
But I think, it's the first step, the step that gets them into thinking, oh, I'm meditating. It's actually the first two steps, I would say, gets them going. The first step is you do what comes naturally for them, but you do it deliberately. And then the second step is you do the thing that doesn't come naturally, try to do the thing that doesn't come naturally for them. And then from there, the whole journey unfolds. So that's kind of where I think how it unfolds. And if you take the first step, you're kind of looking at most religions to kind of have the first step. Like, I will be doing Buddhism meditation because I like that. It just comes naturally to me, so I just keep doing it. Or I will be doing Christianity prayer meditation because that comes naturally to me. And then you just get stuck in it, especially because everyone else around you is doing it.
You see that.
But where it becomes like the second step is to go, well, what am I not doing? That's going to break you out of that pattern, and then it sets you free. And so take the first step to get going, and the second step is to break free.
But going back to the therapy aspect of this, where we started, what can you hope to gain by starting on the meditative path? And, practically speaking.
Yes, but I already have a problem. You shouldn't be hoping to gain anything particularly.
Not what I was when I started, and I think everyone would be.
But that was a hindrance to me.
Yeah, of course.
That hoping to gain something.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that. I know that now.
And it wasn't until I realised that I shouldn't hope to gain anything that things started happening. For me, anyway.
Yeah, but in order to start on a path, people may only entertain the notion if they think that they stand to gain something. And I think when it comes to gain in terms of meditation being a type of therapy for people who consider themselves to need therapy, I'm not talking about just people who are open-minded and kind of want to explore. I'm talking about people who are maybe considered who have issues that they're becoming aware of and they want to try and do something about. You know, they're hoping to be able to overcome certain issues in that scenario. And yeah, like you said, gain can hold you back, but it might be a starting point.
Mm.
And that's what you're going to get if you start promoting meditation. You will have people coming to you looking for something, and it'll probably be different, slightly different for everyone. Yeah, but they'll be looking for something, and really that's the fuel that should start a very creative process as a promoter in you to sort of point them towards something that they think, oh shit, yeah, that's actually pointing me in a good direction now. You know, that's actually helped. But you saying that to me has actually helped me to go towards something that I think I wanted. Yeah. And then, you know, it's superficial at that starting point because you need
definitely.
you need to then sort of expand them or encourage them to expand rather. But yeah, everyone has that starting point. For me, it was just I wanted to understand. I wanted to know if God existed. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. You know, but for other people, it would be different. You know. And
for me, I think it was a want to understand the human mind, particularly that done it.
Mm.
But there are so many aspects to why I think there probably is a part of me that's always wanted to expand, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I think most people do. There was, in essence, something there in the first place.
So do you still want to understand the human mind?
Yeah.
So really, you're still there. You're still there on that.
Yeah, and I think I always will be on the first page. I don't consider myself to be any further along than the first page, if that's what you mean, at this point.
Yeah. So anyway, in terms of promoting meditation, I think you need to be able to interact with someone and find out enough about them, and then for them to open up enough for you to be able to point them towards what I might call a spiritual desire. Like a spiritual desire, like what is their spiritual current vector where they want to go towards, and then just enable that through a meditative practice. And that I think would be your starting point. And then obviously we can talk about sort of veering off and on a tangent at a later date.
I'd be inclined to say, okay, if someone at a later date does have some passion and ideas of their own, I would be the listener and they would tell me what they've learnt. And it's almost like a kind of tennis match, if you like, of ideas in order to help everyone grow.
That's
and there's not one person that's higher than anyone else. It's a kind of, okay, equality. Now it's an equality. Yeah, you tell me what you've learnt because that could be helpful to me. Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't like the idea of guru and hierarchy when it comes to spirituality, because I don't personally believe there's anyone on the planet that essentially is any further along than I am.
Okay, so that's a really good point.
It's something that we all need to do together.
So when someone first enters this, they're assuming that they're going to find people who are higher, you know? You can't get around that, that's just going to happen. But what, as Vee just said, it's a really good point. Once you've established their spiritual vector and pointed them in the right direction, they're still going to be thinking of you as higher, yeah?
But what I would like to say at that point is go away and have your own experiences.
And come back.
And then come back to me and tell me, because I'd like to know what you think about that.
Yeah.
You know.
And at that point, then it goes towards equality, and then we can say, okay, well, that's interesting. Let me try and meditate the way you just meditated.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to try that, and then you can do it together, perhaps, and then, you know.
It's an idea swapping.
Yeah.
It's not, you know. someone's better than someone else.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
which I find in most most religion anyway, and that's one of the reasons why I probably don't favour that.
I mean, I would say from my martial arts, for want of a better word, the way it's just panned out now is that I do interact on an equality kind of level with the people I've trained with recently, even though, you know, they are fresh to it when they come to me.
I think sort of to have the kind of humbleness about you to realise that you could learn from them as well, though, is a good thing.
Well, obviously, you have to put them into a position where they actually feel like, I have something to offer.
I have an idea I'd like to share. Yeah.
Exactly, and I think the creative aspect of it is really important to get them to start thinking that way. Is to say, what you're going to do is you're going to create a type of meditative practice that will work for you. And what I'm interested in is that creation. And I want to try and meditate the way you meditate, even though you came to me in the first place. I actually want to try and do it the way you're doing it, because that not only expands me, but also puts your mind into thinking, no, this person is not better than me, he's just different to me.
Yeah, which I think would be so useful.
In terms of spirituality and community, we don't want this hierarchy appearing where just these charismatic, magnetic people start attracting people, and then you get these little sort of worship groups, idol worship groups.
I'm not into idol worship, really.
And that's kind of all these lessons that I've learned, I guess, from the martial aspect, for want of a better word, things that I think I can plug into it as well. But
so it's not a case of we've got something to teach the world, it's that everyone has something to teach the world. And
we're passionate about encouraging that to happen.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's a good ethos for,
And I think what you'll find is that passion will be contagious.
Exactly.